Hello, this is video training, service, level 1, chapter 3. What we're going to be covering in this part of the chapter is adding pots to a work order. Okay, let's proceed. There are 3 ways of adding pots to a work order. Depending on your business, you may do it one of 3 ways. For example, many businesses, pots are added through the pots department. So, mechanic comes walking up to the pots counter, goes to the pots personnel, says I need a pot for a certain job, and that's how it's put on. Let's use that example first. Going into inventory control, going into the sales program, this is where the pots person would be at the counter pretty much all day long. As we went over in inventory level 1 training, this is the main menu for pot sales. There's a button here called Add Pots to Service RO. So let's assume a mechanic walks up to the pots counter, says I need some pots for a certain work order. Select F8. You can now enter the work order number if you know it. If you don't know the work order number, you can hit the Enter key, which by default will show you all the open work order jobs. Now, this list are all the jobs that are not complete. Green is a job that is complete, but the customer has not picked it up yet. So let's assume that we're going to be adding pots for Tom Moore. There are 2 jobs on Tom Moore's work order. One is we're installing a new back tire. The other one is we're doing a tune-up. It's asking me, what are these pots for? The reason it's asking that is because it keeps track of the pots for each individual job. So profit-wise, you can just not see what you made on the total work order, but what you made on each individual job within the work order. For example, how much did I make in the tune-up? Pots and labor included. How much did I make on changing the tire? Pots and labor. Also, you can get monthly and weekly and any time period reports just saying how much did I do on one particular type of job by job code, and that's what this is, a job code. Let's assume we're adding pots for a tune-up. There again, we're into the pot sales program. If you've had pots training, you're very familiar with this screen. You can do all the exact same functions as if you were selling a pot to a customer over the counter. You can type in a pot, add pots to the work order. What it's doing, it's physically taking these pots out of my inventory and now placing them on this work order, which is work order 716. You can put pots back in inventory by selecting the line, deleting the line, and now those 4 inventory pots are now put back in inventory. We're now in our delete mode. I'll hit the escape key, I'm done. You can look pots up on the fiche and pick whatever pots you wish. Maybe I want to add this to my work order. Maybe I want to add this pot here to my work order. Maybe I want to add this pot here to my work order. If we look at the bottom here, we're adding 3 pots to this work order. When I say post, those 3 pots now appear in my work order. Okay, so we've taken these pots out of inventory, we're handing them to the mechanic, and we're hitting save. Pretty simple. So anytime you need to add pots to a work order, select Add Pots to Service RO, type in the RO number, if you know it. Here's the jobs on that particular work order. We're going to add a pot to this here. There again, it's the same as any pot sale. You type in a pot, takes it out of inventory, puts it on the work order, hit save. It's as simple as that. So that's one option, and that's an option that's very popular. It's done through the pots department. Let's go back to the main menu. Let's now go into service. There are some dealerships where they allow their mechanics or they allow pots to be added in service. Now there again, that's an option on the system. So you need to tell us how your business operates. Some businesses do not allow service personnel to pull pots from inventory. If that's the case, you would turn the option off here so that you will not be able to add pots within the service package. If you do allow pots within the service package, There again, there's also two ways of doing it. From the service menu, and this is the main menu in service, you can add pots via this way here. Pots invoice, add pots to service RO number. What job are these pots for? And there again, maybe we want to delete a job. And maybe we're going to delete this here. Escape. Maybe we need to change the quantity on this job. 2. Hit save. And we've accomplished the same thing. We've taken some pots and put them back in inventory, and we've also pulled some other pots and pulled them out of inventory. That's selecting. Hit escape. We're back to our main service menu. Now, there's also a third method. Update close RO. Now, we're just going to talk about one feature within this update close RO, which is adding pots. The next section will be talking about adding labor. Let's just go in and talk about adding pots. Here, same thing. You would type in a work order number. I'd hit the enter key. Here's all my open work orders. Let's suppose I want to add pots back to Tom Moore. Now, this is a somewhat different screen. This is listing all my jobs and all my pots that have been pulled out of inventory. Let's suppose we want to pull some more pots out of inventory. And that's all we're going to be covering at this particular minute. There's a little button here saying Add Pots to RO. There's also our service options that list all the features that you can do. And there again, it's the same thing. Add live inventory pots. So whether you select this or hit Shift F6, or whether you select this right here, it basically is going to do the same thing. It allows us from within the service program where we can update and change and add labor and do pretty much any function we need to, we also can pull pots. There again, I have to stress, this is a feature or an option that you can turn on or turn off. Every dealership is different. Some dealerships do not allow service personnel to pull pots from inventory. We'll do the same thing, and we're in the exact same place. There again, if I need to type in a pot number, I hit F9 or save. We've done the same thing. We pull that out of inventory. So, we've actually talked about 3 different methods of adding pots, whether you're doing it through service from here, whether you're doing it through update close RO, or whether you're doing it through the pot system. Also, you can design my personal menu. What that means is you may want to have certain employees that you can set up exactly what they can do, and maybe all they can do is just add pots, and that is all. So with my personal menu, you have the ability of dictating exactly what buttons within what module a person can do. If you want to see more information about that, look at the video training of designing my personal menu. Okay, that concludes adding pots to a service RO.